Hello students, we are going to continue the chapter, the Mughal Empire. The topic is Akbar's policies. Okay, let us see the important points for discussion. Here, administrative policies of Akbar, religious policies of Akbar, then the Mughal Empire in the 17th century and after. These are the points that we are going to discuss. Let us study the administrative policies of Akbar first. Akbar divided his empire, the Mughal Empire, into provinces which were called Subas. Akbar divided the Mughal Empire into provinces which were called Subas, and each Subas were governed by Subedars. The Subas were governed by Subedars. Now, these are the provinces that comes under the Mughal dynasty. Okay. Now, the provinces are governed by Subedar and Diwan. There is a Diwan or a financial officer in each Suba. The Subedar is a provincial governor and head of civil as well as military administration. Subedar, he is in charge of political and military administration, whereas Diwan, he was a revenue chief of province. He dealt with the finance. He was a financial officer. This is how Akbar divided his empire. And further, there are more officers to support Subedars. For the maintenance of peace and order in the Subas, Subedars was supported by military paymaster. He is known as Bakshi, military paymaster, then religious minister, Sadar, religious minister, then again military commanders named Faujdas, Sadar, Faujdas, then again town police commanders, they were known as Kotwals. Okay. These officers supported Subedar in administration in each Subas. Akbar's nobles, elite, these officers, they had large armies. Okay, they possessed large armies and received large amounts of revenue. They were very rich nobles. Then next topic is the religious policy of Akbar. Akbar very often he conducted debate and discussions in Ibadat Khana. Ibadat Khana is a prayer hall at Fatehpur Sikri. Fatehpur Sikri was the capital of Akbar, and he built Ibadat Khana to conduct debates and discussions with other religious leaders. Who were the religious leaders who took part in the debates? There were Brahmanas, Ulemas, Jesuit priests. They belonged to Roman Catholics and Zoroastrians. All these religious leaders, they participated in the meetings in Ibadat Khana, and they debated, discussed about different religious faith. And finally, Akbar found that these leaders, religious leaders, they were bigots. Bigots means they were intolerant of other religions, and the teachings of these leaders, these different religious leaders, created a division and disharmony amongst his subject. Akbar found out that the teachings by these religious leaders created a division and disharmony among his subject, and they were very often bigots. Bigots means they were intolerant of other religions, other faiths, and they emphasized, these religious leaders, they emphasized ritual and dogma. What do you mean by dogma? Rules of faith, rigid rules. They were very rigid. Nobody can question these rules, which cannot be questioned. Dogmas cannot be questioned. So he was against this religious teachings. So this led Akbar to a new idea, that is idea of Sulaykul. This led Akbar to a new idea of Sulaykul or universal peace. It was based on tolerance. This idea was based on tolerance, and Akbar was tolerant to all the religions, and according to this Sulaykul, this idea, it did not discriminate the people on the basis of religion. He did not want to discriminate his subjects on the basis of any religion, and it was focused on honesty, justice and peace. The idea of Sulaykul was focused on honesty, justice and peace, which was universally applicable, and it was framed. This Akbar and his friend Abul Fasil, with the help of Abul Fasil, Akbar framed a vision of governance based on Sulaykul. He framed a new governance, idea of new governance, that was based on Sulaykul, and this new idea of governance was followed by Jahangir and Shah Jahan later on. Okay, now we will move to the next topic, that is the Mughal Empire in the 17th century and after. What happened to the Mughal Empire? Let us find out. The administrative system and the military system were very efficient in the Mughal Empire, and due to that, okay, that led to prosperity. The empire developed in the areas of economic and commercial fields. Okay, economic and commercial prosperity took place in the empire due to efficient administrative system and military system. And the travelers, the international travelers who visited, they describe the Mughal Empire as the fabled land of wealth. They said it was a famous land of wealth. But they also mentioned that the same visitors, they mentioned about the poverty also. They also mentioned that poverty also existed side by side in the Mughal rule, okay, in the Mughal kingdom. Now, the Mughal emperors and the nobles, they spent a lot of money on goods and salaries. They spent lots of money, and this expenditure benefited the artisans and the peasantry who directly supplied food for goods for the Mughal. Okay, and those who directly supplied goods to the Mughals and their officers, they benefited from this expenditure. They got lots of money. But what happened to the primary producers? They suffered. Okay, they did not have enough money to invest. Why? Because they had to pay large amount of tax. And the Mughal elite became powerful and started declaring independence. Then slowly the Mughal elites who were very loyal during the Akbar's period, they were very loyal, but later on in the 17th century they became more powerful and more rich. So they started asserting power and they started declaring independence. For example, Awadh and Hyderabad. Okay, you will be studying about this in the last chapter. Okay, then thus the Mughal rule started declining in the 17th century. Okay, children, this is the story of the Mughal Empire. Hope all of you understood this topic. Today we have studied about the Akbar's administrative policy. Then we have studied about administrative policies of Akbar. Then we have studied about the religious policies of Akbar. We have studied about the Sulait Kul, the new idea of governance. Then we have also studied about the decline of the Mughal Empire in the 17th century and after. Children, this is the end of the chapter. I hope all of you have understood the lesson, enjoy the lesson. Now children, you have to read the whole chapter. Now for this topic you want to refer page numbers 53, 54, 55 and 56. Okay children, now try to do all the textbook exercises like match the following. Question number 1, page number 57, match the following. Then page number 58, fill in the blanks. Okay, you have to try to do all these exercise. Okay, question answers will be sending. Then in page number 2, okay, in page number 54, in box there is Noor Jahan's influence in Jahangir's court is given. You have to go through that children. Okay, you must understand the influence of Noor Jahan in Jahangir's court. Okay, by reading that you can understand the influence of Noor Jahan. Noor Jahan was the wife of Jahangir, and you can understand the influence made by Noor Jahan in Jahangir's court. In page number, it is given in page number 54. Okay children. So all of you must read the chapter thoroughly. Thank you children.